had some people request a video showing some troubleshooting of any rudder issues that you might run into, and so we just wanted to walk you through a few things that might help you out, especially out in the field. First off, this boat doesn't have the rudder in place yet, but the first thing you can check to make sure your system is all set up and run correctly is just checking the tension. You should have, it should be fairly snug coming out of the cable housing and into the rudder cap. Then the next thing you can look at is the cord. When the cord comes up through the rudder cap and wraps around the screw, it should wrap clockwise around that screw. All right, and so when you pull the loose thread back out of that hole, that shows you that the cord came out of the hole, round the head clockwise, and then you tuck that excess piece back down into there. So that gives you the first indicators. Nice tight cord, and then a clockwise orientation around there. Those are good indicators that your system's set up well. You can also check your rudder by just moving the handle and making sure it moves. You want to be careful not to pull the rudder cap out of that recess at this point, because you want to maintain tension all the time to make sure the cord stays on the pulley as you do this assembly. The tools you're going to need are a number 2 and a number 3 Phillips head screwdriver, and it'd be nice to have a pair of scissors to cut the bungee cord. We might be using a drill to do some of this stuff, but really all you need is a number 2, number 3, and something to cut the bungee, and that'll get you set up. All right, first thing we're going to do is just show you the basic way of installing the rudder, just to help you make sure the system's working right. First thing I want you to notice is that the gasket is actually up a little ways, and what that's going to do is help ensure that it gets up into the hole before you get into any compression. Kind of makes the whole thing a little drier and a little easier to finish off. Now he's going to flip that up, and he's running that up in there. He's going to have to give it a little wiggle, kind of get it started up in that hole. Then that'll come up. He's got it up in there, and you can see he's got the cross, and that's got to match up with the cross in the rudder cap. And he'll match those up, and he's trying to maintain just a little bit of tension so that the potential of that cord coming off the handle pulley is lessened. If you keep that tension, you're in good shape. There we go. Now go give your system a check. Just make sure it's all operating. He's all the way left, all the way right. Everything seems to be working. He can adjust his tension either at the rudder itself. The first place is just right at the rudder itself. Checking it all the way left, all the way right. Everything seems to be working well. And cycle it a few times just to make sure it's nice and stable. All right, another thing that could be causing some problems, if that cable is a little loose like that, where you can actually press it almost all the way to that wall, that slack in the system might even potentially let the cord pull off of the pulley that's underneath this handle. So what we want to do is we want to tension this cord. We don't need a ton of tension, but we just want it to be a little bit tighter, and here's how you adjust that. First thing he's going to do is he's actually going to tighten the rudder down so it's held in place in a straight line with the center line of the boat. And that just holds its position so that he can now adjust the cords themselves. You just loosen these up. All right, first thing he's doing is pulling some tension on those cords, and he can actually play with the rudder handle back here from the strings, and he's trying to adjust it so it's in line with, say, this groove track or that groove track, or however you like to set your straight ahead angle. He's adjusting that with the strings here. Then he's going to go to wrapping the cords around the set screws clockwise. You notice he went from on the left side of each of those screws with the cord. He's going around 2 full times and holding that tension nice and snug. He's holding that tension there. Nice. And now he can check that tension. Much better. Nice and snug there. You can see he's got it all snugged up. By going clockwise around that screw, it actually draws the cord down into the threads and it really holds it tight. All right, now he can adjust his rudder tension to his preferred stiffness, however he likes. He likes to have it with just a little bit of play there, and that gives it a nice feel while you're moving out on the water. Give it a little test at the handle, and I definitely recommend you cycle it all the way through. Make sure it's working for you. And you're set. You might go back, check the tension again, still nice and snug. If you feel like the rudder handle has a little bit of play in it, there may be a way to reset the cord by rotating the handle. First you'll rotate it one direction, a little bit past 90, and then rotate it all the way back the other way. And sometimes this recenters the cord around the pulley that is underneath that handle there. That's just a quick thing you can try to recenter. If you go all the way around the back when the handle's not working right, you're not going to be able to recenter it in this way. All right. So if you had slack in the system and your handle doesn't seem to be working, the next thing you need to do is take these 4 screws off, 2 on this side, 2 on the other, and look inside. And this is what it might look like. The cord is dropped below the pulley. And there's actually a pretty simple fix. If you've still got your rudder in place and there's some tension on it, you can actually just reach under there, pull the cord up into the pulley as you lower it, and it's going to be kind of tight, and you'll actually have a little pop as it drops into its recess. There it goes. And now it's on the pulley, and the rudder is functioning, and we're good to go. You just have to replace those screws and hold it in place, and you're set to go. Little finishing touch you can do is drop the excess cord back through the hole that it comes up through. That'll finish it off nicely, and that should help you with just about any issues that you have with the rudder system. And good luck out there in tight lines.